Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another video. We're going to be talking about the transformations that you just explored and kind of what the general rules for functions when we're doing transformations are, okay? So hopefully you went through and you tried some of those and you kind of came up with some of these on your own, but these are kind of to supplement the conclusions you came to make sure we're all on the same page about what happens with a function. Okay, the very first one is what happens when I add or subtract outside of a function. Okay, meaning if I have like x squared plus 5 or x squared minus 4, where it's on the outside of the function. And what that's going to do, and hopefully what you notice, is that's going to move your function up and down vertically. Okay, it's going to move it vertically. So for example, if I'm moving it up, I would add a number, and that's going to change my coordinates to make my y's all move up that far because it's moving up vertically. Whereas if I subtract, it's going to move all my y's down, so I subtract that number from all the y coordinates of that function, okay? Now, when you're adding or subtracting inside your function, so that would be like x plus 5 in parentheses squared, or x minus 5 in parentheses cubed, or whatever the function is, when it's inside the function, that moves it left and right, okay? So when you see addition, you're actually going to move to the left. And when you see a subtraction, you're actually going to move to the right, okay? And that might seem a little bit opposite of what you might be thinking, okay, because it kind of does work a little bit opposite, but it has to do with the way that the function kind of reacts when you put that x value in there, okay? So when we want to go to the left, we're going to be adding a number, and we want to go to the right, we're going to be subtracting a number, again, inside the function. So inside your x cubed or your square root or your rational function in the denominator, whatever kind of function we're dealing with, when you add or subtract inside the function, it moves you to the left for adding and to the right for subtracting. Okay. You also should have seen ways that your function kind of flips or does what we call a reflection. And that has to do with adding a negative on the outside. Now, we do also have reflections on the y-axis. We're not really going to talk about those very much in this class. We're going to mainly focus on our vertical reflections. Additionally, we're also going to mainly focus on our vertical stretches and compressions, okay? That's going to be kind of our main goal when we talk about transformations, or those vertical ones. So the reflection over the y-axis, while I have it here in this chart, you're not really going to need to be able to do that later. Same thing for this horizontal compression, making it get skinnier horizontally. Also not really something I'm going to be asking you to do, okay? But the vertical stretch, when you multiply on the outside, if that number is greater than 1, it's going to stretch it out, make it really skinny, okay? And if it's less than, or between 0 and 1, you absolute value of that number, it's going to make it get really, really fat, okay? Kind of make a fatter function, okay? And then the negative, obviously, is going to flip it over that axis for you. You're going to flip it over the x-axis, and we call that a reflection, okay? And those are the main transformations. Hopefully you saw those while you were going through and doing that activity. If you did not come to all of these conclusions, please make sure you write these down. These are things that you're going to be using tomorrow, and really throughout this whole chapter, we're going to really be focusing on how these transformations affect all these functions. And what's really cool about it is that all the functions are affected the same way. All of those parent functions we talked about, the reason why we kind of look at them as an overview is because they all are affected in the exact same ways. If I multiply by them on the outside, they're all going to stretch. If I add on the inside, they're all going to move to the left. If I subtract on the outside, they're all going to move down, okay? They all react the same ways to these transformations, no matter what kind of function they are, okay? So make sure you have these conclusions, and then tomorrow we're going to be kind of applying them and using them, all right? Thank you very much for watching.